I dream of sunflower fields.
I dream of key lime pie with a mile-high meringue.
I dream of the days when we could be part of a crowd.
I dream of snow days.
I dream of empty beds and jail cells.
I dream of a world that will let kids be kids.
I dream of full tables instead of empty bellies.
I dream of schools with enough money to teach.
I dream of parents with enough money to feed.
I dream to keep awake, because if we don't dream of better days, then we might forget that this is not what God imagined.
So today we light the candle of hope. For hope is the very thing that keeps dreams afloat.
May this light be an invitation to keep awake.
May this light be our invitation to be Advent people, people who dream. Amen. Hello, everyone. Good day from the Carr household as we celebrate this first weekend in Advent. This Advent season, we will explore the theme, Those Who Dream, and what it is like for us to dream along with those who dreamed oh so long ago. On this first weekend of Advent, it is appropriate, however, to lament. For we don't know what it is we dream for without knowing our pains and sorrows, our laments first. Today marks the 15th day of COVID quarantine in our house. I was the first one to be tested positive, and that night after I tested positive, we raced to get our kids tested. We didn't know the results until the next day on the kids, and that night I stood in our kitchen, just right in the door there. I stood in our kitchen and I sobbed. I sobbed because I could not protect my kids from this disease, from this virus. I couldn't protect them, and I couldn't protect my husband. I could not protect my family from this virus that for so many people is deadly. I sobbed. Our psalm for this weekend says, "Restore us, God. Make your face shine so we can be saved." It was a sentiment, not exactly those words, but a sentiment that eventually I could come to pray as I sobbed. Restore us, God. Make your face shine so we can be saved. The kids did wind up have COVID, and so did Chris. We all wound up with COVID. Betty Joyce, most of you know her, called earlier in the week to wish us a happy anniversary. Yeah, we celebrated 21 years of marriage in quarantine with COVID. She lamented, though, that at 96 years old, she had to stay in her room there at the senior center where she lives. You would think that at 96 years old you would have you had finally reached the age when you could decide when to leave your room or not, or leave the building where you're living or not. But as we know, the places where our older folks are living, they're not allowed to leave their rooms, and we're not allowed to go visit them because we could take the pandemic to them, the virus to them. And then they wind up having an outbreak. That's what it's called, an outbreak, when there's a large group of people in the facilities where they live that get the virus. And Betty was upset because she's not able to make those decisions for herself. But it's those outbreaks that have affected other people that we love in our community. George Baker, who's going on 3 weeks in ICU. I talked to Camille, our friend Camille, who's a friend of George. She said that they took him off of the ventilator, and they were a little surprised. He was breathing on his own. But he's still in ICU, and they're still watching him. He's responding a little to people. He's made it longer than they thought he would, really. Restore us, God. Make your face shine so we can be saved. Another outbreak at a senior center affected our Ken Anderson, who spent his 104th birthday just this last week. He spent it sick with COVID. Denise and John Lombardi tells the story of climbing through bushes to get to his window so they could wish him a happy birthday. And that he was just cute as pie. Loving it. His family and friends lining up in their cars with balloons, honking and parading by to wish him a happy birthday. Said you wouldn't even think that he had COVID. He was so excited. Denise and John are now in quarantine themselves because Denise came in contact with someone who had COVID and she didn't know it. Restore us, God. Make your face shine so we can be saved. Our Mark passage suggests that the only way to be rid of our suffering is to move through our suffering, to go through it. The suffering is indeed dark, like the sun and the moon not shining, like the stars falling from the sky, like the planets being shaken from their orbits. Our pain will be this great. And we must move through the suffering, move through our lament to reach the human one, the Son of Man, who will be on the other side of our suffering. The Son of Man will be on the other side. The one who comes again in great power and splendor. Restore us. Make your face shine again so we can be saved. The passage talks about this human one coming, that it'll be like someone coming and knocking on the door. And it says we need to be alert so that we can hear that knock. So that we can hear it. So we can open that door. That knock of hope. That knock of healing. That knock of salvation. Stay alert. This is indeed what we dream for.